Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Adventures of the Memory Makers. I'm Cindy. Wilson, our dog, is over there, and then Sam's behind the camera. Wilson is letting you know that he's here. We thought we'd take advantage of this beautiful autumn day to get a project done that I've been wanting to do for several months. As we travel around, we pick up stickers to collect instead of refrigerator magnets, or some people collect shot glasses. And then we look at the stickers and we remember what we did when we were on that trip, or fun things, or maybe not so fun things. And this is a collection that we've gathered, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with them. And then one evening, I was perusing Pinterest and I saw that someone had put stickers on their table inside their camper. And I really like that idea. My only issue with putting the stickers on a table is that was in the camper, is that once that table's done, you can't add stickers. So backtrack several years ago, we bought a vintage camper, and the gentleman was nice enough to include some camp stools with it. And they're just vintage, and of course we love anything vintage camp stools. And Sam said, you know, I doubt that we'll ever use those camp stools, but I could make you a tabletop for it. So he did. This was the prototype table, and it just fits on top of the stool like this. And I guess it goes this way. I had an aha moment that we could use these stickers and put them on top of these tabletops. And then as we collected stickers, we could continue to have more tabletops. So this was the first one that was made, the prototype. And I will say that we did take it camping the first time that we went with friends. And the friend said, oh, I noticed you didn't miter those corners. And that's all it took for Sam to decide that he was going to make another one, bigger and better. So I said that I would like for us to make those tabletops soon so that we can make a video of it. And 3 hours later, Sam came up from the workshop and came up with this one. Now, I would caution you that when you do make the tabletop for it, that it needs to fit over the top snugly of the wooden part, or the wooden brace of the stool. And then he added this lip so that if something tips over, it may not tip all the way over. What we're going to do from here is stain this, and then, well, precondition it, then stain it. Before we treat the wood, we will lay out the stickers and decide how we want them to go and choose how we want them to be. I would be fine with lots of different themes, but my husband, he's pretty anal, and he wants them to be, we'll have a snow theme, we'll have a camping theme, we'll have a sailing theme, and then we could have a Jeep theme. So the very first thing that we'll do is lay out the stickers, then we'll take them off, then we'll condition the wood, we'll stain the wood, then we'll put a sealer on top of that, on top of the stain, then we'll stick the stickers to the top, and then we'll put polyurethane over the top of the stickers, several coats of that. So these are our themed table layouts, and you can see we've got quite a few stickers left over. And luckily, we have 2 more of those camping stools, vintage camping stools, that we can continue to make tabletops for. We have some stickers that are camping themed, we have stickers that are Jeep themed, and then we have stickers that are fly fishing themed, and then I call my feminist stickers. We've got probably enough stickers for those. So there may be several tables in our future, but this gives you a rough idea of how we decided to do it. We'll take a picture of the layout of our stickers, and then I'm going to condition the wood. I changed shirts so that I wouldn't get my good shirt splattered with this pre-stain, and when I did, I forgot to attach my microphone back. So all I did was I just dipped my brush into the pre-stain and I just wiped it all down. And the instructions say to let it dry for 5 to 15 minutes. And we are out in the sunlight and it's pretty bright, so we only let it sit for about 5 minutes. And then I wiped it all down with just an old t-shirt of Sam's and just made sure that there wasn't any excess. So now that the pre-conditioner has dried, we're going to go ahead and stain it. And we're using Minwax Provincial 211. This is a disposable brush, so that's really nice. You don't have to clean them up. And I think I'll start on the side. Oh boy, I'm definitely dripping. It's a pretty dark stain, but I think that way my stickers will show up. I laid this down to apply the stain on the sides to help eliminate some of the running that I was getting. And it's really kind of nice to have someone there with you who can point out if you've got a dry spot. I'm going to apply to the sides and then I'm going to wipe it down and then I'll do the top. So my cameraman, Sam, just pointed out that when you're staining in the shadow, like I was on the other side of that table, I really couldn't see the spots that I missed. But if I keep it in the sun, you can see much better. And always wear gloves, wear your protection, because your hands will be black if you don't. So I'm just trying to get the excess stain off. Hold it in the sunlight so I can see a little bit better. And when you choose the rag that you choose one that you can just throw away because you're not going to want to use this after you're done staining. Make sure your rag is not terry cloth or anything fuzzy because all of that fuzz will stick to your stain. I actually really like the stain because it's an instant reward. I'm all about instant rewards. Okay, ready for the top. I'm going to brush with the grain. Now, a tip about staining is the longer you leave that stain on, the darker the stain will be on your wood. So if you want a relatively light stain, wipe it off there as soon as you can. If you want it a little bit darker, you can leave it on a little bit longer. Now, I'm certainly not a staining expert, but I did do our kitchen cabinets, and then we have a wood wall downstairs in our bunny room where the bunnies stay. And we did that, and it turned out really nicely. Good thing about this is it'll be covered with stickers, so if I make a mistake, nobody can tell. Okay, I think we're just about done. Make sure I get the corner. Now we'll let this dry, and then we will put on the polyurethane. Both tabletops have been conditioned and stained. We're going to let those set overnight and dry completely, and then tomorrow we'll put on a coat of polyurethane to seal it. We're at day 2. Our stain is now dried, and I wanted to stress that it's very important if you are making 2 different tables that you need to measure each one of your camp stools because they're going to be a different size, and I just don't want you to make one size and think it's going to fit for both. I'm going to spray the table with this fast-drying polyurethane, and that allows me to control how much I want to put on here. We moved locations because it's a pretty breezy day, and I was just in the wind too much over there. I'm going to go ahead and start, just do fairly close. Make sure I don't get too close because I don't want to puddle. Nice even strokes. And then the top. Again, nice even strokes and no puddling. I'm on to my second table. Again, sweeping strokes and get underneath as well because there is stain under there. We're going to let these flash, which I now know means let them dry between coats, and then go ahead and give them another coat tonight. The whole purpose of spraying this polyurethane is to give a nice smooth surface for the stickers to adhere to. 3 coats have been applied, and another thing that I wanted to tell you is well, 2 things actually. One, when you pick the can back up and you start to spray, make sure your nozzle is pointing in the correct direction and not pointing at you. Just saying. And then when you apply, going back and forth, you'll do the whole top of the table, then turn it 90 degrees and go back so that you get a better coverage. We're at step 3. We've let our polyurethane dry overnight. I've got some steel wool, and I'm going to go with the grain and make this surface smoother. And if you could see, I've got a little bit of the residue from the polyurethane on there. The surface is much smoother now than it was when we first started. I'm going to do this to both tables. Kind of checked along the side. I've only got just a little bit of roughness. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take a tack cloth and I'm going to wipe off what we just sanded off. Nothing like blowing the dust off. That feels pretty smooth. We'll do the same thing to the second tabletop. So we've taken the steel wool, we've scuffed it all up, and yesterday there was some lint in the air, and I remember saying something about there being lint that had attached to that polyurethane, and Sam had said, don't touch it, just we'll take care of it tomorrow. And scuffing that up with the steel wool did take care of it, so it's nice and smooth. It's a little bit windy today, so we've put a little bit of painter's tape down where we want the stickers to go. And that was probably the fun part of the whole project, deciding what we wanted to go where and choosing the stickers because we had quite a few to choose from. So I will take off the backing of the sticker and I will attach it to the wood. I'll be careful that I don't get any air bubbles underneath the stickers. These longer and bigger stickers, I'm going to start in the middle and just use a card to kind of, but I'll make sure I get all the bubbles out. So we'll do that next, and then we'll add another coat of the polyurethane spray. So we got the stickers on, and that is a very slow, almost meticulous process because you have to make sure that there are no air bubbles and that it adheres to the wood. Like this Yak Attack, those were single letters that you had to make sure when you peeled it off of that plastic that it did adhere to the wood and didn't stay on the plastic. To me, this was kind of the fun part, although it really was not a fast or an easy thing to do, but I really like how it turned out. I would try to make sure I got them all even so it wouldn't drive my husband crazy. And after this, we will do a couple more coats of the spray polyurethane. And the reason for that, for doing small light coats, is that we want to make sure that nothing seeps underneath those stickers, because if it does, then it could cause bubbles. And that's a chemical reaction to the polyurethane, not moisture, like I said the other day. So we'll do that, and then after that has dried overnight, then if we want, we can use a brush polyurethane and make it thicker so that it's an even surface between the stickers. First coat was very light. This coat I'm going to make just a little bit thicker. What I've done I think looks really good, so we'll go for the second coat. I remember to turn it instead of me changing positions. I see the wind is kind of carrying a lot of it away. I think that looks good. On to the second table. You know, talk about Indiana weather. When we started this project, it was 75 and sunny, a little bit of a breeze, but not bad. Well, now they're talking tomorrow we're supposed to get 2 inches of snow, and I can definitely tell that the temperature is dropping. And the wind has picked up from this morning, of course, since we knew we were going to be spraying. My husband's giddy with excitement at the prospects of 2 inches of snow. But I told him not to get his hopes up because they could be dashed. So we'll let this dry overnight, and then the next process will be brushing on polyurethane to make it thicker. We're getting closer to being done, and you guys are not going to believe this. But remember me talking about the weather? Well, the forecast was for 2 inches of snow. I said, no way will we get it. We did. We woke up yesterday morning, the snow started coming down, and it stayed all day and through this morning. And it's too cold for us to be outside, so we've moved the project inside where it's nice and warm, and Sam cleaned up his workshop. This is clean. And we are going to apply some polyurethane with a brush. I'm going to move this table over to the side, and the reason I did that is I don't want to accidentally splatter any polyurethane on top of it. Another improvement that we made is we have 3 cans underneath so that it's not as wobbly. Okay, I'm going to start on the sides, just like I did when I stained it. It doesn't want to spin as quickly as it did when there was only 1 can, but it's a lot more steady. I'm trying not to put too much on that it's going to make a puddle. I'm not sure what you call that. It's probably not puddle. It's probably something else. Okay, back to the top. I've done the sides. I'm going to put quite a bit on the top. I'm actually going to dab some on. Because that's been sealed with the spray polyurethane, it should not run underneath the stickers. Can you kind of see can you tell what I'm doing? Now, I'm going to brush it and even it out. And like I had said earlier, this is kind of a lengthy process, so this would not be something that if you were going to go camping on a Friday or Saturday, you couldn't start this on Wednesday and get it all done because you need that time for the coats to dry. I can already tell as I take my brush across that it's more even in between stickers. Now I think because my table's not level, kind of wanting to run to one side. I'm seeing a few bubbles, so I'm trying to spread that out, and that's making the bubbles disappear. Now, I'm kind of working the bubbles out and pushing them to the side and then bringing them up over the edge, and that seems to be taking care of it. This is the second table, and if Sam will show you the first table, it had a few bubbles along the edge, and it's been sitting there for probably about 5 minutes, and those bubbles have kind of worked themselves out. And because it's a liquid, it will self-level. So if your surface is level, it will even out. Now, I know I had said that I'd watch some videos using epoxy, and I'm not anti-epoxy by any means, but it's a lot more expensive than polyurethane. So that's why that, and we could do the spray polyurethane to do the light coats at the beginning, and seemed to work out great. Again, I'm just working out those bubbles to the edge, then taking them over the top and then spreading them out. So I think it's going to be just fine. We're going to move this over to the level cabinet top, countertop, let that dry, and then we'll show you the finished product. Temperatures dropped dramatically, so Wilson and I are inside with our winter loungewear on, and we completed the tables. They've dried, and they turned out great. There aren't any bubbles on it, and I would definitely recommend this project for anyone who wants to have a wooden table. It doesn't have to be a camp table, it doesn't have to have stickers on it. You can use photographs or really any way that you would want to make it. It is nice to have the lip around the edge because when we did the polyurethane that we brushed on, that kept the polyurethane from dripping over the edge. So that was a smart idea on Sam's part. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions about what we did, just give us a comment, and hopefully we'll see you soon.